Well, hello there. Hello, and welcome to our conversations where we discuss issues that move you up and that move you forward. Mm? My name is George. Welcome to our conversations. I'm a life and business coach. I'm a Proctor Gallagher Institute consultant, a speaker, and a facilitator at Vula and Law Consulting. So I thought this week I would dedicate it to a series. We will be doing the series, the I Love You series, in which we will talk about relationships with others and with yourself. We'll talk about watering the relationships. We'll talk about listening. We will talk about uncomfortable discussions, the ones that no one wants to have. And I think we'll close off the week with helping others. And so I thought if we do this well, it would help you become a better person, and it will show that you care and that you love others. In this particular period that we're going through, I think it's a good series. It gets us to look inwards and look at ourselves and what can we do better? How can we improve ourselves? How can we be better persons? All right. All right. So a while ago, I wrote an article on LinkedIn. It was about watering relationships. And so that I'll bring it in, upgrade it a little bit, and kick off the week with that. Because I think it's very important to start off with that wider view and then going into listening and the other things. All right? Okay. All right. Then we were talking about spring, but here it's winter. But hey, the gardens are still okay. It's spring is always a new season, isn't it? That's when the flowers come to their own and things are looking bright, etc. So what happened then was I noticed that the garden wasn't looking good because it had been exceptionally hot. One of those freak days where the sun just burns everything. So I took the hose and went watering all the plants around the yard. I did the flowers, I did the herbs, I did the cabbages, and they were looking quite sickly, literally dying, you know. So the following day after I'd done this, because I'd done this about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, the following day, I went out in the garden, and let me tell you, you won't believe what it was. I mean, the petunias, the snapdragons, the African daisies, the clivias, the hollyhocks, the spinach and the herbs, they literally looked alive. They were sprightly, they were, and I bet you if they could talk, you could have heard them shouting for joy. Somebody said plants do talk, but I tell you, they looked so sprightly and bright. I just stood there and I looked at them. Not only was I feeling proud of myself, but I really was really looking at them and saying, wow, what a difference just one night makes when you do the right thing. So it got me thinking about relationships, and this is where the watering relationships title came in. You see, whether it's a marriage, it's a work or business relationship, or any kind of relationship, its quality and sustainability largely depend on the work or effort we put in. Relationships don't just happen. They happen because there is effort being put in them. You understand that? And so as you water those daisies and the hollyhocks that were looking brightly, they needed the watering. In turn, they give you such beauty and joy. And so when you water a relationship, in turn, it gives you such beauty and joy. So, and what are the things that one can do to water a relationship so that you see this joy and beauty all the time? All right, so I have a few tips, and I know you guys can make up lists afterwards, and it will be great to see how many you guys can come up with actually as an exercise. So what is the first one that I'm recommending? The first one is invest time in improving communication within the relationship. So whether it's with your spouse or with your business partner. We did a series 2 weeks ago on radio, and we talked about partnerships. And we said that for a partnership to survive, the parties must be open with each other, but communicate often. Because all too often, small things lead to big things. And what's important is everybody is walking with them all the way. So similarly in your home relationship, it's small things that are discussed that if they are not discussed, will lead to big things. So invest time in communication. Now, there's a lovely, lovely book. It's called Love and Respect by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. If you buy that book and read it, because in terms of relationships in the marriage, it's a fantastic, fantastic tool to have. All right. So what's the next one? The second one is listen to understand and don't be quick to judge and condemn. You know, a gentleman by the name of Brian McGill said this. He said, one of the most sincere forms of respect is actually listening to what another has to say. Now, for most people, it's a difficult one because they're listening to answer. They're listening to make their point. But so tomorrow we'll talk more about listening. But listening is an art. It's a skill you can develop. And when you do it well, wow, like those flowers I was talking about, it will wave and smile at you because you've invested time in listening, not talking. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. And then number 3 is everyone has their flaws, right? But equally, they have their strengths. And so focus on the strengths. Because I find in relationships, whether it's a partnership, marriage relationships, people will focus on the weakness. Well, if you're going to look for weakness, you will find in every person under the sun. You will find that. And if you're going to glorify the weakness, well, then that shows, in my view, that you're not being mature about this. What is this person's strength? Look for that. Embrace that. And of course, work on the weaknesses. But don't spend time on the weaknesses and define the individual by their weaknesses. No. Everyone has strength. What is your friend's strength? Help them build their weaknesses. Help them improve on the areas they are weak. Now, because you're coming from a place where we said it's the I Love You series. So when you love somebody, whether it's your partner or whatever, you want the best for them. So you look for their strength. Yes, they will have weaknesses. Find ways of helping them with that. I like that. I like that. And so, and then the next one is, I mentioned the book by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs, Love and Respect. It basically says husbands love your wives and wives respect your husbands. And he says, when she feels loved, she is happy. And when he feels respected, he is happy. That's why it's called love and respect. The gentlemen, love your wives. And wives, respect your husbands. Because for a man, respect is a big thing. It's a huge thing. But for a woman, love is the thing. The flowers, the good mornings, oh yes, you remember I talked about the hollyhocks and the African daisies. That's what a lady loves. Read that book. It's a great little book. Okay, the next one is appreciate those with whom you are in a relationship with. Appreciate them for who they are. I put here what's and all. What's and all. For what they are, for who they are. I was looking up what's and all and say, where did this thing come from? Apparently, and I'm not too sure how strong this story is, but there's a gentleman who was Lord Protector in England some years back in the 1600s. His name was Oliver Cromwell. And in those days, they would get an artist to paint a portrait of them. And so the royals and those with money they would have an artist do it, and they would remove the what's, they would remove the what's, and for the men, the calves was a big thing then, and they would kind of enlarge the calves on the painting so that it looks real good. Just like we see with the selfies and what's happening now, everybody's touching up those things. Well, nothing is new under the sun. That's what King Solomon said in Ecclesiastes. All right, so what's in all comes from him saying, no, paint me exactly as I am. Leave the what's there and all. And so that's what I'm saying to you folks. I digressed a little bit there. But focus on them as a person. Yes, there will be things that you don't particularly like. Well, so it is. But there will be a lot that you love. That's why you're together in this partnership. So when you have a relationship, go in knowing that you're not going to get 100% of what you want from the other person. In fact, if you did, I'm sure it would be an extremely boring relationship, where everything about that person is exactly as you want it. It would be a terribly boring relationship. It must be something that, hey, there's something there that they do that I really can't do. And that's what you like. Hey, all right. So the next one is, and I think this one is very important, really, really important. For me, it's a very, very important one. Be vulnerable. Neither you or anyone else is perfect. So don't pretend to be perfect. Don't pretend at all. You are not, and you know it. You know you're not perfect. And your partner knows you're not perfect. So don't pretend. Be vulnerable. There'll be things that you get wrong. Listen, I'm sorry. I got this wrong. You lose nothing from that. But don't go out there as if you are the only creation that's got everything together. Nobody gets everything together. So be vulnerable. Open up. Hey, listen, this is me. And of course, make an effort to get to be better. And so as you listen to the things we talk about, hey, maybe I can do that better. And then you become a better person. But be vulnerable. All right. So that's one more. And don't gossip. Ooh, don't gossip. You know, gossip is one of those surest way to ruin relationships. You know, stay clear of it. You hear your partner, and hey, your partner was saying this about you, that partnership is gone. Even if you're a football team or what, you hear this one, that's gone. Don't gossip. If you've got a point, raise it directly with the individual. Oh, I can't. Well, if it is true and you genuinely believe in it, say it in front of them. Because, you know, in law, there's this thing about give the other side the opportunity to respond, right? So if you're going to gossip, you're not going to give the other guy the opportunity to respond. Hey, this is what I heard. Oh, no, my story is. All right, that's fair enough. But don't gossip. You want to ruin relationships? That's the way to gossip. That's the way to go. Okay? All right. Because what did we say? It's the I love you series. So you love your partner, you love your colleague to the extent that everything that you hear, you put it on the table so that they can redeem themselves if they have to. It might well be true, but at least you've given them the opportunity to give you the version that they say is the truth. Okay? Okay. And then, as I said, with regard to gossip, the last I had, or partnership that we had in the 2 weeks that we spoke about, was that it broke up a very, very good partnership. And when the parties realized 3 weeks later, after the termination, that actually it wasn't true, it was too late. The trust was gone. And when the trust is gone, there's no relationship. But this was a business that was growing and going to do well, and broken by inconsiderate action on the part of one of the partners. So be careful with that. All right. Okay, guys, I know you will have many more that you can share with me and you can include in it. That's great. But it's the start of our series, the I Love You series, and today we talked about watering relationships. I'm going to drop in listening, and I'm going to talk about uncomfortable conversations, and we're going to talk lastly about how we can help others. How does that affect us as we go about our day to day? All right. Thank you very much for listening. Listen, I said last week as we came in, let's hear from you about your wins. What have been your wins? So as we get towards the end of the week, just connect. Tell us what something that you have done. Maybe you have improved your behavior. Maybe there's something that's come up in your life that you consider a win. Let's hear about it. And what's been your aha moment in all these things that we're talking about? Hey, let's hear about it. Share. It will be great. And as we say, sometimes some of the things that we do as a result of our paradigm, as we said, is your multitude of habits that sit within you, and they control your habitual behavior. And as we said, a greater percentage of your behavior is habitual. So connect with us if you need us to chat to you about that and find a way of getting rid of those habits that you do not want, but they follow you because you have not done anything about them. We'll be happy to connect with you. And hey, lastly, check out us on YouTube page and subscribe. All right, subscribe. We posted some stuff last week, and so if you missed last week, hey, go to our page and watch for yourself. And connect with us, like this page, share it with colleagues. And we'll be back again tomorrow. Take good care of yourselves, and as I always say to you folks, stay positive. Stay positive, because what? That's medicine for the soul. Take good care, guys. See you tomorrow.